Hey there, everybody. This is day 2 in me challenging myself to spend the next at least 7 days going live. So, hey, how are you? Happy Friday. Friday, good Lord. Can you tell that, woo, it's Sunday? And one thing I really wanted to talk to you about in one of my live streams was one of the toughest decisions that I ever had to make in my life. And that was to get divorced from my first husband. I had been with him for 16 years, married for nearly 14 when the separation happened. And then by the time we went through the lovely legal process in Maryland, it was 15 years we've been married. And for any of you that have ever been in this situation or are going through it now, I want you to know that you're probably struggling with a lot of questions, with a lot of doubt, with a lot of fear. And let me tell you, that is completely normal. If life came with a script and a playbook of how to live, no one would ever, probably, I'm guessing, face tough decisions or challenges or overwhelming feelings of despair, which can easily come up in a huge breakup or a divorce. And so how I went about making that decision was I had 2 children. My daughter was 3 at the time, or 4, I'm sorry. She was 4, so my son was almost 10. So they're pretty impressionable ages, and they're aware enough of what's going on and what's happening. And when I made the decision, and like most people, I was the one as the woman to make the decision that it was time to end it. When I asked my then husband to leave the house and pursue a divorce, was it difficult? Absolutely. Did I doubt myself? Did I wake up in the middle of the night? Yeah. But I spent a lot of time looking at my core values, analyzing what kind of life and legacy that I wanted to leave for my children, and weighing a lot of pros and cons. And a cousin of mine who went through a divorce told me that something would happen where I would just know. And I didn't believe her. And when the time came to finally pull the plug and decide that the divorce was going to happen, she was absolutely right. I can remember with crystal clear clarity the moment that that decision was made. And it literally settled on me. And when it did, there was a huge relief that went with it. And for most of us, when we're wrestling with a decision, whether it's to buy a house, to get a new job, to get a divorce, the thing that we're really struggling with isn't the making of the decision, like the act of the deciding. It's the deciding itself. It's the going through the process and going through the mental anguish and walking that road of, is this something I really want to do? So if you are in that position and you are weighing, first of all, live your life according to your timetable. I didn't consult anyone. I had an honest conversation with myself, and I just paid attention, and I knew I did the right thing. Has it been easy? No. Having to co-parent with an ex-spouse is never easy. I know that there are some amazing people who are able to be like best friends with their ex-spouse and they go on vacations. That's not the case with me. We are civil. We live very close to one another. We actively co-parent. So one of the tips that I would suggest just in the process is set up a Google Calendar where everyone has access. That way all of the school events, all of the sporting events, all of the vacations, they're accessible. My son has access. And so that, if you can't hear my dog, Patton, lay down! That helped the lines of communication, because the number one difficult thing with divorce is communication. You know, if I could have communicated well with him while we were married, we might not easily have been divorced. So those of you that are struggling, please know that you are not the first to go through this. You are certainly not the last. You are not alone. I commend you. Those of you that have decided to stay together and make it work, I commend you for doing what's right for your family. Those of you that have decided to take the leap, I also commend you and cheerlead you and champion you for doing what you needed to do. So I just wanted to share a little bit of my journey. I'm now in a much better position. I'm now able to learn from my mistakes? Does that mean I'm perfect? By God, no. And I'm going to continue making mistakes. And there are still times when my kids ask, why did you have to get divorced? You don't know what it's like traveling back and forth between two houses. And they're absolutely right. I don't. But what I do know is I know my truth and I know my values. And so those of you that are struggling, know you're not alone. Have a great Sunday.